I would say the first thing would have to be ego. If one can separate ego, and it doesn't matter if it's male or female, masculine or feminine, if one can separate ego, communication will soar. And a lot of people don't even understand fully what ego entails, what all is included in ego. And it's much more things than what the norm is talking about.
I'm here with my great friend, Rickey Strong. We're in beautiful Tempe, where I grew up. We had got a beautiful day, and we thought, you know what? We found this dock. We're like, let's just set up the camera, let's hit record, and let's hang out.
It's a beautiful day out here. It's gorgeous out here. This is a beautiful scenery. This is where me and my fiance come. We get our 15,000 steps in.
Yeah, yeah. This is great. Where do you guys usually go? All the way down here and then along the trail here?
Yeah, so when we first started, 4 years ago, when we first discovered Tempe Lake, we'll start from down there, and we used to walk all the way down there where all this development is at. It wasn't there at first. None of this development was there, so it was a way you have to go, come on the street just to come around. It's a police station over there. You got to come around. Now the trail seems to take you around properly, and I've just found out that you can go maybe 20 miles down. I'm down for that.
Litchfield?
Yes.
Yes, that's what you were saying, Litchfield. Yeah, when I was a kid growing up, this was called the river bottom.
Okay.
There was no water. It was all dirt. I think there was a couple junkyards that were in here. None of these buildings were here at all. The only thing that you would really see is ASU Stadium in the mountain, and that was pretty much it as you drove by. And it's so beautiful today. It looks like it reminds me of like you could film like a modern day RoboCop film.
Yes, you can, because the way the buildings look, right?
Or like Tron or something.
They is. I was telling my fiance, they're like, you don't get the great sculptures you used to get, with buildings from old ages, actual good masonry architecture. You just get glass, a square box, and that's it now.
Yeah, you don't get the Enlightenment message in the stonemasonry anymore.
No, you don't.
You don't get the secrets to science in there, secrets to math. You go to a lot of the cathedrals, the Pythagorean secrets of music, are all tied in there and all that stuff. When it comes to I know you and I really click when it comes to esoteric studies. I kind of want to change that word to consciousness studies. Okay. Esoteric makes it sound like, to some people, like we're drawing a circle with a pentagram and we're sitting in the middle with candles,
It can sound like
calling on a ghost called Zigabot or something.
Yes, because a lot of people.
But it's consciousness study.
It's
studying our consciousness. What is this out here? What have you been studying lately? What's kind of got your eye right now?
Honestly, lately, what I've been studying is actually myself, along with the rest of humanity. I'm also every day I'm trying to be better than the previous day, every single day. So right now, I literally been studying myself to a point of it's getting. I know it's alchemical. Everything that I'm doing is alchemical, and it has an effect on a quantum level. So right now, studying myself, the way I do things, how I do things, how I partake in my day, how I even start my day. It sounds simple, but when you actually start doing it, and you get into that algorithm of doing that, you literally shaping your environment, shaping everything around.
It's amazing.
It is.
When you finally get aware of yourself, and then you finally realize that there's a quantum realm. There's this other level of the material world. That manifests this world, right?
It is.
They say as above, so below. The modern scientists would say the quantum creates the micro creates the macro.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
So if we can tap into the micro, which you're doing, the macro has to change.
It has to. And I'm a witness to that. I can attest to these things. Just giving a slight background of where I come from and where I'm at now.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that all of the alchemy of just studying yourself to make yourself better, that's true. Once you change your environment, you could change your mentality. But if your environment remains the same, then you kind of still slightly stuck in the same frequency unwillingly. So you'll have to go outside of your environment of what you're used to really get the frequency to be like, okay, you want change, so now you're starting a whole new path for yourself, and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Some things just take a little longer to manifest than others, but it will happen.
Takes time.
It does.
Takes time. Takes patience.
Yes.
And when you're just like when you're creating a painting, you're using thought, right? When you put it out, you either keep creating or let it settle and create what we do. So I think a lot of us may have been raised. I know I was raised this way, unfortunately, to think about the things I don't want to happen instead of thinking about the things I want to happen.
Exactly.
Isn't that wild?
The same way, yes.
Isn't that wild? So there's a huge consciousness shift in that, right? And catching the ego. This is what I want to happen, but then all of a sudden it starts creating what you don't, and then it's like, whoa,
yes.
Stop throwing that paint on the picture. Hold up, wait, we got to bring it back.
Most definitely. It's exactly that. You start your day off. If you used to start your day off, I ask people this all the time. Like you say, you want to change it from esoteric knowledge to conscious thinking. So I let people know and try to inform them, like, hey, just take a second to think about when you start your day. If you start your day on a level of being upset and mad, look at the people around you. I can guarantee you, 90% of the people that will be around you that day, if you start your day off like that, will be in the same frequency. You may not know exactly their problems, but you're going to hear somebody probably arguing over here. You're going to see maybe an incident over here happens, but that's because you created that in your realm.
It's so true. Yes. It's so true. It's a reflection.
It is.
We're all doing it together as individuals. Like you and I, we're creating this right now.
We are.
It shows you what's in your soul, man.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
so cool. Beautiful, clear sky.
Beautiful. This is a gorgeous day, though. Today is gorgeous.
It is. Let's, so what was that? So, reading the book by Napoleon Hill, he wrote, Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
There was a book that he wrote that came out before that called, I'll put in a clip of it. I can't remember the name of it. He talks about hanging out with Carnegie and hanging out with Rockefeller and like all these guys that were bringing industry into America. And that was the first thing he learned was that change of frequency, what you just spoke about. And what he did is he took all of his money, he went and bought the nicest suit, he took the rest of it and stayed at the nicest hotel and hung out because he wanted to build his economic security up. He hung out in that frequency.
Yes.
Right. And he has data showing how his, everything was changing because he stepped into that frequency.
Exactly.
It is real.
It is real. It's very much real. And I don't know exactly how to express this, but I feel like that change of frequency happened as a whole, maybe in the last 3 to 4 years. Maybe in the last 3 to 4 years, as a whole, it just seemed like the frequency changed, and whatever you really been going after, 9 times out of 10, you probably actually got it. You just put a little footwork in. At the same time, you can't just sit on the couch and think, and not actually put no action to it. But if you do put some effort to it, it's going to work out.
Plant that seed.
Work out. Yes.
Plant that seed. Add a little water to it.
Exactly.
Watch it grow. Don't. If it's not growing fast enough, don't push it.
Yes. Exactly. Because the seed has to penetrate the soil before it can actually bloom.
Yeah. That is so true.
Yes.
When you got out of your old frequency, where did you go? Where did you decide to step into a different vibe?
So, of course, it was a process.
Yep.
And that process was an accumulation of just certain things happening in my life that I once thought was good. So where did I go originally? Was the first place I actually went was I stayed home. So I'm from Chicago and from the projects, from the west side of Chicago. And I stayed home because why I stayed home was I was trying to change going to the neighborhood I'm from all the time. That's where my family at. That's where friends at. My mother is from down there. My father is from the same projects. My grandmother still live in the projects on my father's side. I stayed home. And when I started staying home for about a week. And within that time, I started doing DoorDash. Wanted to be an independent contractor again. So I wanted to do DoorDash that could separate me from society so I could start doing that. That was one of the things I started to do. Also I started when I knocked on the door to actually join the fraternity I'm in. That was one of the first steps as well, was to basically, like you said, put yourself around the frequency you want to be around. So I put myself around a men that was positive, that was doing charity, that was doing so much different stuff than what I was used to. You know, like it's crazy
Yeah.
it's crazy how the mentality think about certain things, what the mental does, and how your perspective on certain outcomes in life. You know, that was some of the first things, was to knock on the door and just first put myself around individuals that's prominent. It don't matter what type of job you have or anything. It's just you have a job and you want to do better in life. That's what I started doing. That's exactly what I started doing. It was hard though, and it's still difficult.
It is the hardest work, the great work.
It
right?
is.
It is the hardest. It is, and it's changing the brain. You know,
Yes.
we have pure, peaceful consciousness
Yes,
flowing through us.
we do.
It's the same one going through both of us right now,
Mm-hmm.
right? The only thing different is a filter called the brain. You know what I mean? That's what makes us different. And as that consciousness is flowing through us, you know, whatever gets filtered here comes out. So going into that frequency, I think for me, same thing,
Mm-hmm.
for me has made me more aware of that pure consciousness.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like less thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
less thoughts,
Yes.
more of a, not a static piece, but it's a dynamic piece.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I
It's not a
understand.
static piece. It's not a,
But it's a fast
it's a
paced piece.
whoo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you can feel the energies
yeah,
peacefully though,
yeah, yeah.
because you can feel energies in a negative way too. But that's probably another subject.
Yeah, yeah,
Probably.
yeah, yeah. What do? You know, when you're around that, you know, and this is really good to see, you know, put yourself in a situation 20 years, 15 years ago,
Yes.
put yourself in that same situation today. Totally different person.
Most definitely. Most definitely a totally different person. 15 years ago, I was already tatted for 2 years. Like I've been tatted maybe since I've been tattooed since I was 13.
Yeah.
So that show you what type of frequency that I mentally thought was adequate. It may have been adequate for the time frame and for what I was going through. It may have been something that it's not may have, it is something that I needed to go through to experience to know what I want to do today.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I often mention to a lot of the guests that maybe what we're experiencing is a conscious simulator. It might be one of the best ones we got here.
A lot of people don't like that word, simulation.
I know it.
I'm okay with it.
I know it.
You really get to thinking about things. Maybe it's not a simulation as far as
Not like a video
computer,
game.
exactly.
Mm-mm.
Not a computerized simulation, but it's a simulation of. I mean, you're creating your algorithms.
Yeah.
A computerized simulation, you create the algorithms on that. If you're on social media and you're looking at one particular subject, you're going to get a lot of that subject because that's the algorithm you're in.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's honestly similar to life.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a hard drive right here.
Yes.
It can't hold all the information that there is, right?
Yeah.
Right. So I got to go to other hard drives,
Yeah.
pick up a little data.
Yeah.
Even in meditation, maybe even go into the singularity.
Exactly.
Tap in there, bring in
Yes.
some more information as well.
And that's what I do when I'm confused. When I find myself confused, depressed, just battling negativity, negative frequencies mentally, I have to tap into the meditation realm. I have to. You speak on it all the time. You tell people all the time, even if it's just for 5 minutes, just be still.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do nothing. Clear your thoughts, clear your head, and then just feel your frequency grow. You speak it all the time. From the first day I met you, before we even spoke, the frequency that you held was a frequency that I would like to associate myself around.
Oh, thank you.
No problem. For real.
Well, let's just show everybody right now. Let's just sit here. Let's just sit here for like 60 seconds.
Let's do it.
Right? Let's just sit for 60 seconds. This is beautiful because we can just be the water.
We can flow with the water.
Man, that's amazing.
That was.
That is amazing.
And then you come back
You can hear
and
the birds talking. You can feel the
yes,
dock moving.
exactly.
Being stuck in the city, all these months, and just that moment right now, I felt like I was just out in nature for a minute. Just, woo, that
That
was
felt really
awesome.
good. That
That
felt
was
really good.
awesome. Question I have for the podcast: how can we better communicate as human beings?
That's a strong range of perspectives without it. So I can give certain opinions and my perspective on how we can better communicate as humans. As a whole, honestly, I would say the first thing would have to be ego. If one can separate ego, and it doesn't matter if it's male or female, masculine or feminine, if one can separate ego, communication will soar. And a lot of people don't even understand fully what ego entails, what all is included in ego. And it's much more things than what the norm is talking about. Some people say ego is, well, you have a lot of money and then you treat people a certain way, you treat people wrong. Yeah, that's ego too, but it's really not the money, because that person probably was already like that before the money.
Oh yeah, sometimes it makes it worse.
Sometimes it makes it worse.
Yeah,
and it fuels the ego in a bad way, in the wrong direction. So if we can get rid of ego and set ego to the side, that's a start. That's a start. Now, when it comes to individuals, as far as ethnic groups, I can only speak on the ethnic group that I'm in, which is I'm a melanated American. I'm not gonna segregate myself to somewhere. We all of this realm, of this world. I just happen to have a little bit more melanin in me, a slightly darker.
you put both of us out in the desert. One of us is going to survive.
No,
the other one's going to catch up.
no,
like my skin is smoking right now.
No. We both gonna survive. We're both gonna survive. That I can only speak on certain things like that. So like maybe for the ethnic group that I come from, how can we better communicate? Ego is definitely the number one thing. Pride is a part of ego, and I feel like pride and ego is a very, very thin line between the two.
Yeah.
And so many people are prideful, and it's okay if you come from certain places and you made it to a level of accomplishment. You still need to remain humble. I don't really like to use the word humble, but that's the word that everybody's familiar with. You need to still express some humbleness, because anything can be taken from anyone at any point in time in this world. Nothing is definite. There's only one definite thing in this world, and we all know what that is. So until that happens, I think we all should. Once we all set this ego to the side, the world can be a much better place for everyone, not just one particular race. I'm talking about for everyone. I don't care about race.
Yeah.
Really
yeah.
don't.
Yeah. We have the same consciousness, man.
Yes.
We got the same, and it's flowing through everything. It's moving through the water.
It is. It
is.
is.
And when you connect to it, then you can get the perspective you just shared.
Yes.
Right? Because now it's 10,000 feet up.
Yes.
Yes. It's amazing.
It is.
It's amazing. When you, with all your studies, with what age you are right now as an individual, I kind of think consciousness is making individual consciousnesses for communion. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. I don't know until I go on to the next, form. But for you as an individual, when you look out here, this is just made of molecules. Yes. Me and you are made of molecules, yes. All the way down to the hadrons, all the way down to light.
Yes.
Right. And then where's Rickey and Briggs in here? Like, can you point where Rickey is in here, where Briggs is in here? Like, is it in the DNA? Where is it?
It's everywhere.
It's
the air. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
We just happen to be manifested in a physical form right here at this moment, but we're everywhere at every point of time. A lot of people don't know that, or can think maybe outside the box that deeply, as far as we can be everywhere at any moment. I'm thinking right now about the area of where I live at now. So that's technically I'm right there. I'm just not there physically. But I am there mentally, and mentally is a form of the metaphysical. That is the metaphysical. So you can be at multiple places at a time, and then if you really tap into that energy, which I haven't been able to get back to it, but sometimes I'm able to tap into certain energies because of the frequency that I am in, which is not too high of a frequency. I could be here and think about something and know someone is right there at that place, and they could feel me, or they'll start thinking about me.
Yeah.
So we could be everywhere at any point in time. We just have to take a time. We have to take some time and just start understanding ourselves. Like you asked me at the beginning, what have I been studying? I've been studying myself. If you could study yourself, you'll learn a lot more about what you're in and the realm you're in. You can't study other people until you really know yourself.
Very true. Know thyself.
Yes.
Know thyself. There's a gospel that didn't make it into the major Bible. It's the one of Thomas.
Okay.
And it's very esoteric. It's the one that went to India, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the first few sentences, it's basically the direct teachings of Jesus. Like, these are the direct teachings. These aren't the stories. These aren't the, you know what I mean? Yes. The overlays. And it starts off at the very beginning saying, he who interprets these sayings will not see death. Right? It says that right out of the gate. Because, as you know, as you're reading this, you and I aren't going to see death because we just change form.
That's all we do.
Right? So we get that first part, right? Yes. No problem. Okay, I get that. Second part is, it's worded, I don't have the exact words, but basically it's when you become aware of yourself. Mm-hmm. There is a moment when you become aware of yourself, you will be dismayed. It says that you will be dismayed because we're so looking out here, judging. Yes. And then all of a sudden, whoa, what if I stay home? Mm-hmm. Stop going out into the world and look at myself.
Yes.
Right? Let me judge myself and start seeing all those things. Now, oh my God, I'm not all that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Right? I am dismayed.
Yes.
And then it says you will be astonished. Because the reason why you'll be astonished is because I can change that.
Yes, you can.
I can change that.
Yes.
I can transmute this thing.
Yes, you can.
That's pretty amazing. And then it says, then you will rule over the all.
That's some powerful words. That is very powerful.
Those are Jesus words.
I guess that is exactly why that's powerful words. Yes. You will rule over the all. And it's
right. You will rule over your ego.
That's what it is.
You'll rule over it.
Once you discover yourself, there's really nothing else to, I can't say accomplish or anything. There's nothing else to conquer.
Yeah.
Once you conquer yourself, yeah, that's a very good
step into dynamic peace.
Yes. And you're ruling over all because now you're allowing all to really probably not bother you as much. You're learning how to communicate. You're learning how to communicate. You're learning the communications of yourself, which will be the essence of everything.
Yeah. Like my ego, I call it the great antagonizer because my ego was built. I grew up in the 80s. Mm-hmm. It was built by my mother, by my father, by my grandmother, by myself, right? Yes. So all their sayings are built into it, right? They're all there, all of them. So, and they pop up during moments or conversations. That's ruling over the all. It's being aware of that. Like, that's not me.
No, that's not true.
That's just a collection of thoughts.
That's a collection
that I've gathered through time.
Exactly.
But that's not me.
It's not you. You will become you once you break outside of that normal chain.
Yeah.
That a lot of people speak on generational curses, but
that's
not
what
fully understand. They think a few bad things happen. No, it's the teachings that was taught for generations that
you get them right out of the womb.
You get them right out the womb that you still apply to today's life. You can't really apply something from 30, 40 years ago with today's world because everything is always changing.
Think of this: we're born into this world esoterically. We're told we have 5 senses, right? Yes. Right. But then you find out, I got this other sense. I got this other sense. I got this other sense activated, and this other sense. The same thing.
It is.
It's the same thing.
It is very much so the same thing.
That's why when we have kids, when I raised my kid, I was like, "You got 30 senses. I'm going to teach you."
You told me you got 30 senses.
Yeah. Now you can't go around telling everybody this because they're gonna think you're crazy. But
yeah, There will be a time where you will be able
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
express this to everyone else, the other senses that you know that you have. You know, I try to tell people, just in the lamest term, that we have more senses than five. When you step into a room, we all have done it. Before something happens, you feel that it's about to happen, and then if you stay, you may experience what you felt.
Yeah.
That's that. What sense
Yeah.
is that?
We both have probably examples of that happening where it saved our life.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely. I talk to the universe, which is self. I talk to myself and I talk to the universe all the time. If you want me to do something, please scream at me because I'm hard headed.
Mm-hmm.
I need
Mm-hmm.
you to
put it on a license plate. Put it in the cloud. You know what I mean? Like,
I ask for the signs and you
Yeah.
give me the signs. But then sometimes the signs be so faint and I be so busy and so just running around so much. Keep giving it to me until I'm tired of it. And I'm like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you ask, you will receive. And then what about those times when the sign really hits you in the face and you're just frozen for about 5 seconds? Like,
Yes. And you know,
you're like looking around, like, okay.
and you remember exactly when you probably asked for
Never
that
forget
sign.
it. And you never forget it. Yeah, it is so true.
Definitely.
It is so true. Well, I truly enjoyed hanging out with you, man. I always love hanging out with you. It's wonderful. I learn a lot, and thanks for coming out and hanging out in this beautiful city we got here.
Most definitely.
And hope to hang out with you more. Thank you so much for being on my podcast.
Thank you, brother.
All right. All right. Thank you, brother.
Love you too, my brother.